You know, if it's one thing that I love, it's watching the industry actually do something right for once, which is incredibly shocking. And really, it goes to show what in fact is happening at Xbox could be a massive indicator in the gaming space, not only with what Xbox itself is doing, but also the gaming industry as a whole, and clearly where the entire thing is in fact moving. And unfortunately, it's going to disappoint quite a few people, but clearly it's going to be the direction that everybody is in fact looking forward to in making sure that you stay in their ecosystem and also be a part of their platform. And really, it's kind of funny because all this basically started about 60 days ago. That's right, when Microsoft hired Asha Sharma. And then on Twitter, one specific thing happened. She said two words, "Hear you." And these two words were levied all across the internet for practically an entire month. Fanboys and grown adult men in their 40s console warring like the 80s and 90s in the playground between Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo, as if their entire lives depended upon which brand sold more plastic boxes or video games. No, I'm not kidding, that's still happening today in 2026. It's pretty wild when you think about it. And these idiots online were parading those two words around every time Xbox was putting a game on PlayStation, or a DLC dropped on PlayStation, or something happened Xbox related that wasn't in a positive note. However, these past 60 days, Asha Sharma has been defying the odds, actually. From everybody claiming that she was using an AI bot to make responses on Twitter, which is actually kind of funny when you realize she was just trolling everybody else with the tweet of beep, beep, boop, boop, I'm a robot, which is pretty good if you ask me, to even people like myself questioning her entire hiring practice as someone who was part of the AI core development team and has my own personal issues with AI as well. But you see, it looks like Asha has been proving myself and many others in fact incredibly wrong. And I love being proven wrong because when that happens, it's actually a good sign. Asha Sharma has gone around and provided massive amounts of updates to the UI of Xbox, listening to the actual users who play on the ecosystem. And on top of that, in my personal opinion, making probably one of the best things she's ever actually done for the brand, removing the Microsoft Games Initiative and placing it back specifically as just Xbox, which really is a great thing to see. And on top of that, providing a massive letter to the actual company itself, dictating all the things that need to be fixed, and of course, work in the right direction to make things easier for not only the brand, but also the users as well, having a better experience overall. But this is just the start of what she's been doing. And no, it's not going to be an Asha Sharma glaze fest. Removing the catalyst of Call of Duty from Game Pass and reducing its price is a good sign and first start. But the thing is, it looks like there's going to be even more aspects moving forward of what Asha Sharma is going to be doing. And clearly Game Pass is at the center and forefront of what this brand, this company, and this ecosystem, dare I even say platform, is going to be looking at moving forward. And it's going to get a little crazy. Because according to Insider Gaming, Xbox Game Pass for China is seemingly in development. Now, this is actually incredibly huge, especially when you realize the kind of market China actually is. It's a heavy PC market, and gamers there only play on the personal computer, which is why you had companies like Shift Up and Stellar Blade want to put their game onto the PC, which is why PlayStation has been doing things like the China Hero Project. And when you look at Project Helix being a full-on PC as well, that's going to be even crazier to see what's going to be happening. And I think this is going to be one of the key factors of increasing their monthly active users or their daily active users as well onto their platform and being able to grow that brand exponentially. If PlayStation saw some movement in there, you can bet your sweet bippy Xbox will do the exact same thing. But there's more to the article, so let's check it out. According to a report by The Verge, the Xbox PC app's latest update points towards Xbox Game Pass coming to China. Within the files, a mention of Project Saluki has been found, and the description for this codename states China market expansion for Game Pass, rewards, and subscription tiers. Other than that, no other details were revealed. The report also adds that Microsoft has been selling consoles in China for years and selling games through Activision Blizzard. However, many games are not always approved by regulators, which is a problem publishers often face when trying to distribute their games in the region. The same challenge applies to Xbox Game Pass, as not all games offered through the service may be approved in China. However, they could opt for a smaller library of games with a new tier specifically catered to China. At the moment, this is just speculation. Now, I know you're thinking, Alex, this doesn't really mean a lot. Why is this important? Well, like I said before, Project Helix is going to be a Windows-based platform by all the rumors and accounts, and especially having Steam as a storefront available onto the Project Helix platform on top of that. Basically just giving people a computer, provide Chinese gamers a way to access all their entire library while also giving them access to Game Pass and everything Xbox is doing could be a true value proposition a lot of people may in fact be using to stay out of the ecosystem of Linux and even SteamOS. And that could be a massive gamble that Xbox is in fact taking. A huge population of gamers ready and willing to spend money on video games but not leave their PC ecosystem or libraries could be the right mention for exactly what they need to push those products and monthly active users even further. And even then, providing a proper tier of Game Pass for those users could be right as well, seeing as how China is incredibly regulated across the board. But you see, this is just the start of what Xbox and Asha Sharma are in fact doing with the brand. And clearly the words "hear you" are just the very beginning. Because according to Windows Central, saying this, our Adam Hales thinks achievements finally feel meaningful again, thanks to the latest Xbox update. Gamer score badges add a sense of progression that's been missing for years, and it genuinely changes how the system feels. Now, believe it or not, this is actually incredibly massive. Achievements themselves have been feeling rather dull, and adding these new layers and levels is a great way of adding chase items and badges to your actual account. It may seem like something small, meaningless, and not really important to those who are not in the ecosystem. But people who use Xbox on a consistent basis, and even many PC gamers who use the Xbox PC app, are looking at things like Steam levels, where they go ahead and provide you higher levels of actual tiers inside of Steam to give you either more badges, more cards, more cosmetics, just ways of actually integrating you more into the ecosystem itself, making you far more sticky to stay around on that platform. All your friends are there, your badge progress is there, your levels are there, your cards are there. Why would you ever leave Steam, am I right? Well, they're doing the exact same thing with the Xbox PC app and even Xbox itself. And that's incredibly important because then it makes people feel like they're excited to be part of that ecosystem, like there's something there for them as well. And that is a good thing and exactly what Asha Sharma is in fact trying to do. And this is where things get even crazier, because not only did Asha Sharma say "hear you," it turns out she knew exactly who to respond to. With Stallion83 on Twitter saying this, "Holy crap, they're doing it. Tiered gamer score badges are coming to Xbox profiles." With Asha Sharma replying to Stallion83 on his original tweet saying, "Heard you." Now look, you're not going to see a lot of memes from console war fanboys on Twitter about this one, and clearly it's because there's finally someone in place at Xbox actually listening to their user base. I do like what Phil Spencer did with the brand, being able to basically save a diarrhea-covered trash fire sinking ship for those past 14 years, and it's been great to see what he's done. However, though, I think what Asha Sharma is doing is far granular, far more detailed, and really sweats all the small stuff that people truly do not like. And you can see that exact same perception in what people see in Steam as well. Constantly updating, changing, and looking at new ways of providing a better user experience overall. And if Xbox can pull this off and provide that better experience, those small little details, and sand off all those rough edges, it won't feel like getting stabbed by 1,000 small knives when trying to use the platform. It'll feel good to use, and maybe even keep people on the platform platform itself, or in fact attract new ones when they decide there's actually value there for them in the first place. And it's exactly what I think Xbox has to really be doing, copying a lot of what Steam in fact does, looking at the actual space and saying, why does Steam get all these benefits? Why do they get all this grace awarded to them? It's basically because Valve consistently walks around and makes massive updates, provides good things for the user base, with things like Sandbox as a development tool, walking around and giving you Source 2 in your own hands to make Gary's Mod successors, which really could make any game right now and put those games onto Steam. Like I said before, giving you badges, level progress, updates, cards, being able to sell them in the marketplace, and even a brand new community marketplace overhaul as well to even sell items that you've earned in-game. This is the kind of stuff that Xbox truly needs in order to provide those massive updates for people to say, hold on, wait a minute, I didn't know they were doing that. That's kind of cool. That's another layer of value that is there without having to lock content behind a plastic box. True actual value, not just in the console, but also in the ecosystem as well. And here's where things are going to get even crazier. It looks like Xbox may be the one taking the actual leap in the gaming industry to make massive changes. And it might even be pro-consumer. With friend of the channel, Jez Corden, on Twitter saying this: Positron, Xbox may be working on a disc-to-digital program for gamers in the ecosystem, enabling digital entitlements like Xbox Cloud Gaming and Xbox Play Anywhere. Given that now PlayStation is 85% digital, the likelihood that next gen goes all digital is in fact pretty high. Also, Microsoft has a new Xbox Game Pass tier set in the works, especially for China. Whoa, that is a huge leap. I feel like this is classic Xbox and Microsoft. Personally, I feel they've always been ahead of the curve. In fact, sometimes, or the majority of the time, to their own detriment. And now finally, it looks like Xbox may in fact be taking the next proverbial step ahead of the curve. Even though no one's announced anything at all from either PlayStation or Xbox, we're watching in real time as the industry itself is moving into an all-digital landscape. And this ties into directly with things like Stop Killing Games and even Steam and GOG. DRM is going to be a massive hot button issue this next generation. And if Xbox can truly pull this off, we could be seeing proper pro-consumer behavior on a Microsoft platform. Truly something nobody ever expected, especially with the company that made games for Windows Live and ruined so many games on the PC platform. But there's more to this article though, so let's check it out. With Jez Corden's article saying this: codename Positron, from what we can tell, could be some form of disc-to-digital entitlement program. The details here are incredibly scant right now, and investigations are ongoing. It might not be exactly as it seems right now from all the details we've received, so take this with a huge pinch of salt and a healthy dose of speculation for now. But it would make sense. I thoroughly expect the next-gen Xbox Helix console PC hybrid to be without a disk drive. Hints I've received about the nature of the box increasingly point to the idea that it will be a fully digital system, similar to today's gaming PCs, laptops, and most modern devices. Indeed, the industry for discs is on its last legs, with Blu-ray sales resigned mostly to core console gaming. PlayStation itself is now reporting an 85% digital ratio, and Microsoft is likely even higher still. And I want to stop right here real quick. It's not just PlayStation, it's not just Xbox. You see, a large majority of PlayStation games are still available completely on the disc day one without having to be online. And you can play the game without any updates. Does It Play does a fantastic job on Twitter showcasing games that are still fully playable on the disc, or whether or not they need patches to even work. However, though, we're seeing a massive move towards all digital as the entire future. That's one of the big things that PC gamers truly understand about what's happening right now, and clearly we can give some insight on the entire aspect as well. You see, PC gaming may not have actual physical ownership, but we do have ways of having digital ownership that is not, let's say, approved by many corporations, although there are some that provide us with that content available. Steam gives you the ability to play games without having Steam active, depending upon whether or not specific DRM are applicable to that actual game itself. De Novo being a perfect example of ruining your online online fun when you're just trying to play a game offline, or the fact that other games as well could have online requirements that really aren't understood by the actual user, and Microsoft has to be able to clarify exactly what's happening with those games before they're being purchased or played. On top of that, I've also shown as well that Microsoft does in fact send out games that are basically just coasters. Even though you have a physical disc, it's about 85 megabytes of data with just the installer file to download the actual game. Doom: The Dark Ages did this on PlayStation as well, so clearly, they're moving into this space 100%. But it's not just PlayStation that's 85% digital. It's not just Xbox that's probably even higher than that. It's also companies like Capcom, where 93% of all of Capcom's sales were in fact digital as well. And that really goes to show what in fact is even happening. People are choosing convenience over preservation. And if Xbox does this right, and they approach this with the idea of actual preservation for their users, they could truly provide real value for that ecosystem. Hey, your guys are all digital. Don't worry. We're making sure that the DRM doesn't impact you, and these games are part of your actual account, and you literally own them. Saying that would be far better than anything else, and that would put a clear line in the sand and honestly differentiate themselves not only from PlayStation, but also from companies like Valve, and put them into a space where other platforms like even GOG truly have a hard time competing. With the article continuing by saying this, PlayStation's solution has been external disk drives up until now. It's also a beneficiary of the Blu-ray consortium. Microsoft, conversely, has to license the tech, increasing its costs. If this program is what it appears to be, it could be a method that existing disc-based games can bridge into the Xbox Helix ecosystem without having to give up on their content. Exactly how this will work wholly remains to be seen. I presume Microsoft would need to somehow render the license on the disc defunct remotely after conversion. If they didn't, you would in theory be able to take the disc and share the license out to dozens of people for free entitlements, and I can't imagine publishers would be happy with that. So clearly, there will be some limitations if indeed it's real. And this is exactly where the fun begins. Now we get to see exactly what Microsoft is in fact doing, and if they will actually hear you, because clearly what's going to be happening right now is the fact that licenses and ownership in the digital space are incredibly difficult to come by. And one of the biggest issues a lot of people have when they tell me, Alex, I want to move to PC, what do I do with my current game library? It's really a tough thing to say. Usually it's just wait for a Steam sale, then pick everything up at 90% off that you have in your back catalog and go from there. If Xbox can truly sit and figure out a way to provide a digital license from a physical game key, that would be awesome in the first place. I'm not sure how they would do it, whether or not scanning the barcode on the back, inputting that serial number inside of an actual website to give you a digital key to access and download it, or just having it say like, oh, you played this game on a previous system, therefore here's your digital key, there you go. And you can throw away the disc as well, rendering that disc defunct. That could be some possibilities. However, there are some massive concerns I see for this as well. Number one, playing offline. That's going to be the biggest one. If you can't play these games offline digitally, even though you have the disc, even though you've converted to a digital copy, that's going to be a massive issue overall. There has to be some true digital ownership in this space if Xbox truly wants to make some sort of differentiation agreement between themselves, their user base, and every other major competitor on their platform. Remember, with Project Helix, they're not just competing with PlayStation and Nintendo. No, now they're competing with Valve and even with GOG. That could be a huge win if Asha figures this out, being able to carry your entire physical library into a digital space, not only with things like the ROG Xbox Ally X, which would be incredibly cool if I could take all the physical 360 games that I have somewhere in my attic and put them on this bad boy, even though I've played them already. It would be really neat to have, by the way. I'm just saying, more options, more places to play. You guys already do Play Anywhere. What's stopping you from doing this? That would be incredibly smart. But also it would give people a better reason to not only use Project Helix as their next generation console, but use other places like Steam even far more sparingly. I've got my entire library on the Xbox PC app. Why would I go anywhere else if I get the games DRM free and can play offline and have all the same or better features than what Valve has? Now we're talking true competition, which makes Valve go, oh, okay, you want to play that game? Now we're going to do even more for the customer and consumer. And that is true competition in the space. Actual value for the user, not just walking around and trying to lock content behind a paywall or a service or an online storefront. That's not competing. True competing is when you're fighting for that customer in the first place, not trying to coerce them through dirty tactics. But Xbox has to do one thing and one thing only: be incredibly clear, be incredibly concise, and have the right messaging if this is in fact a true thing overall. Because if they don't, they're going to lose to Valve, they're going to lose to GOG, and they're certainly going to lose to PlayStation, because people are more inclined to know about marketing and slick talk rather than they are about finding the details and digging through the weeds. That's how things go nowadays. But you know what? I want to hear what you guys got to say about this in the comment section down below. Do you think Xbox could pull this off? Do you think they're going to in fact mess this up? Or do you think this rumor could be nothing more than just hot air? I want to hear what you guys got to say. Oh, and by the way, if you haven't supported Jez Corden and Windows Central, please do so. The guy does incredible work and he lets me use his articles for these videos. It really is a lot of fun and the guy's honestly fantastic. Give the guy a follow, check out his content, and go check out the website as well at windowscentral.com. No, I'm not sponsored. He's just a really good guy and he does a lot of great work, so I just want to help support him out here. But as always, though, speaking of comments and what you got to say, here's the comment of the day from yesterday's video. With Texo UL6BG saying this: Astrobot is a literal cemetery simulator. Yo, that is crazy. I never thought of it from that perspective, that Astrobot is literally just the game that you could go out and play and actually watch all the dead IPs that PlayStation completely ignores across the board. That is actually wild as you collect all their souls into your spaceship. I never thought about it that way, but that is actually deep fried more than I could ever actually imagine. Fucking crazy. Texo, brother, you earned this one. Jesus. But as always, if you want to see more of this kind of content, though, more PC port reviews, gaming news, Steam Deck videos, fanboy content, and live streams, subscribe to the channel. And if you want Discord access or emotes during those live streams, become a YouTube member. It's as low as $1. Look, if you don't want to spend the buck, don't even sweat it. Just come on down to the live streams Saturday nights, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, live right here on the channel as I wear a banana suit and get insulted with text-to-speech. It's actually pretty insane. The community is amazing. Trust me, you're gonna love it. If you're Latino, it's like Sábado Gigante, and I'm Don Francisco, just getting insulted all night long. Truly, it's an amazing show. Saturday nights live, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, right here on the channel. Oh, and do you want even more of me? Check out Oh No, It's Alex Gaming. Link to that channel is in the description down below. I stream practically every single day or whenever I can, and also upload videos every Monday about other topics in the gaming industry, usually about a game specifically itself or something I just really want to talk about that doesn't really fit the news cycle here. Right now, we're playing Mouse PI for Hire. We're almost done with that. Then we're going to jump into Elden Ring and some other games as well. So come on down to the live streams every weekday, Monday to Friday from 10:30 a.m. to about 2 as we play games and hang out with the best community on YouTube. That's right. You. With all that being said, though, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a great one, and I'll see you gooners next time. Peace!